let's just get into it. No big interruption. No big introduction. Let's just get into it. Meet the People by Pia Guerra. This is a editorial, so like there is writing on this book, unless that was, I don't know what that is for every copy. This is used. I got a used like new copy. I did not want to pay more than $6 for this book. This one I mainly got just because it's Pia Guerra. That's pretty interesting. But the thing about this is, the main reason why I was kind of skeptical to get this book, I bought it and then realized after. I would have, if it was from Amazon and paid full price for this book, I probably would have canceled my order. But I got this half off, so I was like, why not? The reason for why this is because it's just a bunch of caricatures. There's caricatures here, but then you get like New Yorker like editorial kind of comics. That's what this is. Pia Guerra did a lot of New Yorker articles, not articles, New Yorker editorial cartoons and stuff like that. But then you get like a lot of stuff like here. It's just like this is what you call a comic. Like, it's just a caricature. It's a drawing. I said in the first cut, like I mentioned in the first cut. I don't want to say it like that. It's something that you guys saw before, but I get so sidetracked and like my brain like completely shuts out, and then all it gives me is I just kept saying. But I did say how this that should have been just a free comic book day book. Basically, what I'm trying to say. If they released this for a free comic book day, whatever year this book came out, that I don't think that would have been like the worst thing. Yeah, okay, the person would not, Pia Guerra would not have gotten because I think even I don't think free comic book day you even if like it sells really well, you get anything because it's free, you know. So the original creators don't get money, but 2018 is, I just checked it came out in October 2018. Now it's not like a deal breaker or anything like that. It's not something that I'm upset for owning because again I got it for $6, but it's just like this they call this a comic book, you know. It's this is they have the audacity to call it a graphic novel, and yeah, they have like comics here too, but a lot of it is just kind of like this, just drawings, and of course you have this, you know. Now this one I mainly got for two reasons. Pia Guerra, I was like, oh, she did an Image comic, okay, I'll pick it up, why not? And the fact that it was the last book I knew that I was at all interested in. Image Comics had released an article with Citizen Jack. It was a related article, and it was in 2020, I believe. And it was like comics to pick up that are political before you go to the polls kind of thing. And this was the only one I did not get. So I was kind of like, you know what, let's get that. And I said the only one that I was interested in the first time I mentioned this in this video. Now that is because there are a few others that are widescreen comics. I don't like reading widescreen comics. If you want to know what a widescreen comic is, just look up Echolands on YouTube, like an Echolands comic overview. I think Omar has done one near my condition, and he goes really in depth with his overviews. He's a very huge inspiration of mine, and I try to make try and improve my content. I think of what he does, and I make my content not like his, of course, but I try and you know what I mean. But basically, he did. I believe he did do an overview of it, so it's up there. Look up Echolands comic overview, you should find, or Echolands comic, you should find it. But basically, a widescreen comic is just the most uncomfortable way to read a comic ever. So I just show the artwork. Pia Guerra writes and draws, she does everything. And then we have ID, written and drawn by Emma Rios. This was one that I just completely forgot to double check to make sure I had everything by Emma Rios from Image Comics back in December. Because back in December, I got her series The Island, specifically because I was like, oh, let's get, because we're already getting Pretty Deadly by her, let's get The Island too and have everything I have from Emma Rios that she's done. And ID is something that she's written and drawn. I believe and drawn. And this one, yeah, we'll take it. So this one is three people want to get body transformation because they feel like they're lost in the bodies that they have right now. You can tell it's that kind of story, but I think it's supposed to be more like, let's see what it is actually. Because the thing that I thought it was more like, it was kind of like a body horror almost. Like, yeah, it's the dystopian too. That was the other thing I was thinking of, dystopian. So I don't think it's supposed to be. I'm sure it is, but I don't think it's supposed to be that type of book like through and through, like that without any twist to the narrative. I don't mind that. It's just $10, and it's an oversized soft cover. Yeah, it's soft cover, not hard cover, but it's oversized. And for $10, it's a good price. But it's the same size as Island by Simon Roy, if you guys remember that when I showed that off not too long ago. And then afterwards, and then a few months later, I got Cowboy Ninja Viking. That was also an oversized softcover. Sometimes they will do that, and it's really strange when they do it because it just seems kind of strange. It's like how they do treasury editions from Marvel Comics, but even then, it's the paper quality is not as soft. It's like in between a softcover and a hardcover. And then actually, it's just the artwork for that. And you can tell I'll show it again because I want to mention something about it. Okay, that way, because it doesn't concern me. It's a group text. So the artwork here is not exactly black and white. If you've ever read Superman, red, white, and it's red and blue. Red and blue, they use just those two colors, red and blue. Superman's colors, his color scheme for his costume. And that's kind of what this book does. It's just a couple of colors, but it's not black and white because you can tell it's like red or pink. Pink, I believe. I'm colorblind, so I can't tell. Some colors look the same to me, but I believe it's pink. And the cover here is like almost all white, so you can barely see anything. The next book up is Vindication by M.D. Marie with art written by a bunch of people. I'm just gonna show the cover page. It's like, actually no, which one was it? The next one is. This one's penciled by. It is good amount of names, but it's also co-created by Matt Hawkins. I don't know what that means because it's like a pilot season thing. Hopefully this is not a spin-off of a book. I have read this before. I did enjoy it enough, but I completely forgot about this book. And it's been I only read it once. I never read it again. And I haven't thought about the book since I read it back in the day. And then just a month or two ago, I remembered it again. I was like, oh yeah, let's get that. And I think I did have it at one point on my wish list, but I must have either taken it because I have two places I put my wish list. I put it on my Amazon account and on the family Amazon account. The reason for why that is because I change them all the time. I just like having it on my Amazon account. It's one of those things. So I think I did have it on my Amazon account, but then I kept switching things over and then probably just got rid of it by accident. Never remembered to put it back on. So all 4 issues are collected in this trade, and this deals with police corruption. That is that kind of story, but it does do things, and it does change things around. Like, it's not exactly as cliche as you expect it to be. The character, the villain is written to be somewhat sympathetic. You're supposed to, obviously not supposed to condone his actions, but you at least are supposed to understand why he does the things he does. They're not good things at all, but like why he feels the way he feels, I meant to say. Yeah, all 4 issues are collected in here. From what I remember, at least, you're supposed to like understand him and like not think he's, it's not like written to be completely bad, basically. Yeah, all 4 issues, M.D. Marie. And then Matt Hawkins co-created it. My 2 theories is that the other one is hopefully the one that is the let's actually double check, because they did this thing called pilot season. It makes a lot of sense because this Top Cow image. Let's see, which they published in. No, it just says Vindication 1 through 4. But they did this thing called Pilot Season, where they come out with they have like a bunch of one-shots, and the series that got enough votes, they got picked up. Which I think they should do more often nowadays. But that would end in travesty, so maybe not. So the next one is another one I kind of forgot about, which is kind of funny because I read it back in November of this past year, so November 2023, and that is Supper Club. Now, Supper Club, the main tagline selling point is that it's for fans of Raina Telgemeier, which is not an exaggeration at all. It's very accurate. And this is one I just when I remembered about it this past month, a few weeks ago, I could not shut up my brain to just say, like, you know what, it's not one that you were like super crazy about, so let's wait until next month. I couldn't tell myself that, and thankfully I got an Amazon gift card from Knowledge Panel for doing surveys. I racked up enough points to get a gift card. Speaking of which, unless I get another one by February 1st, this will probably be the last of what you see. There's probably only going to be 2 parts to my January 2023 haul, which I'm not complaining about at all. I got plenty for this month. And this is all in one. It's not collecting anything. It's an OGN. I just showed off the artwork. Yes. Yes, I did. I don't know, let's do it again. This is about a group of friends wanting to create, because it's their senior year, and they're gonna all go off into college, and they want to make a supper club, you know, kind of as last hurrah, from what I remember, or from what I could tell from from what I could remember. But it's basically that. Written and drawn by Jackie Morrow. And it's kind of funny here because, especially on the Image Comics website, and just like looking at it from the corner of one's eye, you'd be mistaken in thinking that this is just a Scholastic right here, which is Jackie Morrow. You'd be mistaken in thinking it was just a Scholastic, and not emblem, but the Scholastic thing like they have in the books. And I think that goes to show even more they're trying to go for that young adult crowd that read Smile and other Raina Telgemeier books and other books like that. There's actually a bunch of them that they said that Image Comics on their website they were advertising and saying what the book was about, and they were saying Relish was one, and that this one summer, and I think that was it. It was just those 2. I will be getting this next time I go to the library. So it's for next week's following week's visit. Next up, we have Home by Julio Anta and not a bunch of artists. There's artists, there's logo designers, there's library consultants. There's a bunch of people. So I'm just gonna show the page here. And now this one, like with Man-Eaters, is one of those books. It's political comic. It's trying to tell. It's pretty preachy, but it's very interesting too because it has a twist here. Man-Eaters had a twist, and this one has a twist here to make it an actual book, actual story, actual comic, like fiction, and that is that one of the characters has superpowers, and they use it to their advantage. And it deals with immigration, it deals with a bunch of that, and it was kind of done a bit too over the top, I felt. And I felt like this was supposed to be like a tongue-in-cheek, over-the-top, super ridiculous satire comic. Then fine, but it's supposed to be satire, like the world outside your window, like it's Marvel Comics kind of thing, but from Image, obviously. But I did think it was interesting enough. It did keep my interest at both times I've read this series, this mini-series. So I will give it that, you know, I'll give it that. Julio Anta is a writer I will keep in mind when I'm picking up books. There actually is another book he did that is thankfully available at my local library. He did for, I believe it was like First, like one of those Scholastic type publishers. Logo, that's what I was thinking of. The Scholastic logo, the way that Jackie Morrow's name was, the way that was shown on the cover made it look like the Scholastic, at least in my eyes. I was looking at it from the corner of my eye. It made it look like it was the Scholastic logo. But yeah, Home, collecting 1 through 5 of Home, written by Julio Anta. I say Julio, not Julio. Julio Anta. Wow, me and my brain. Julio. Maybe to say Julio Anta. I know I did one of the times, at least one of the times I showed it off before. This next book up I've not read, but this is Dark Engine, written by Ryan Burton, with artwork done by John Bivens. And this is Dark Engine Volume 1, The Art of Destruction. This is one that, there's 4 issues out that are collected in here. But then there's a 5th issue, and it's all that's available from that series so far. There's no talks of an issue 6 or whatever. It probably got canceled. It did not. Well, it probably was popular enough. It was not a series that I think anyone's heard of, and it kind of just fell under the radar most likely. And even the people that were reading it probably didn't really like it that much. But it does have a few quotes here. There's one from the creator of The Crow, James O'Barr, and J.H. Williams III. Like I mentioned before, he did Echolands. That was a book I mentioned before, but it's only in the trade do you get the first 4 issues. Then you have to get on the Kindle, or if you're lucky enough to find it, at your local comic shop or even eBay, you get it there. But I got it off of the Kindle, and here is the artwork. I'm not one of those people that gets too up in arms about like, oh, the digital stuff can get taken away from you. Yes, in most regards it can. Xbox has, most recently, Microsoft has kind of said that you don't own, as Ubisoft, they said you don't own the games that you buy digitally and kind of something like that, which I think is a really scummy thing. But something like Kindle and Comixology, especially Kindle, that's always going to be around. I doubt they're going to say, oh yeah, we're out of business, so even the books you have downloaded are going to be taken away from you. No, I don't think that can happen for Kindle. I think they've come to an agreement with all the comics publishers that they allow to be published on Kindle. They come to an agreement that it'll always be available on Kindle. Yeah, maybe if they want to, they'll edit out stuff they don't want to have in there. But other than that, I don't think there's a whole lot to worry about. Like they have to worry about for video games. And I'll show the artwork. I can't already show it off though. And they said, yes, they did. The main comparison with this series was Conan, for fans of Conan and Red Sonja. Conan I do like. I've read a couple of Conan books, and same with Red Sonja. But Red Sonja a long time ago. The only thing I've read from Red Sonja was the crossover with Conan, ironically enough. And then there was a Red Sonja Spider-Man crossover I read a long time ago, but I do remember really enjoying that miniseries. So next one up is We Stand on Guard by Brian K. Vaughan. This is one of the last 2 Brian K. Vaughan books I needed. This is one I've read before also. I did enjoy this one. This one, it reminded me a lot when I picked up Post Americana. That was one thing that reminded me a lot of was We Stand on Guard, because I read this before Post Americana, so I was reading that. A lot of comparisons I made to this book. It was pretty good, but it was probably, out of everything I've read by Brian K. Vaughan, the least good. But that's saying a lot. It's like saying, like, oh, Stephen King writes a bad book. Like, yeah, okay, fine, but he's written a bunch of good books too, like a whole bunch of good books. So, it's kind of like it. And it's like Pixar too. It's. I think if this wasn't written by Brian K. Vaughan, I more or less, maybe, I don't know, wouldn't be as. I wasn't even all that critical about it to begin with. And I think when I first read it, I just said it was okay. The artist here is Steve Skroce, which is ironic because that is who did the artwork for Post Americana and who wrote it too. And Phonographics as a lettering and design, and same with at least with Post Americana, both actually, Post Americana and Maestros. So it comes full circle. Then here is the artwork. It's a dystopian comic. Like I said, a lot like Post Americana, which is also dystopian, but this time it takes place in Canada, and it's all I really remember from it. I don't remember a whole lot else. I did get the hardcover, and I did get it used very good. Now, this was definitely a used book. You can tell someone has read this book before, because a lot of little bends here, but nothing too major. The only major blemish, and this wasn't even a big deal, but the fact that there was a slip of paper here. There was the wrapping paper, like you have for presents, and it said, I don't know who exactly it was, but it was like to Mark from Jolene or whatever. It was like I got a kick out of. So, isn't that funny? But no, even like flipping flipping through it right now, I don't even see any like the bends that I make to know where I'm let off in the book, like that kind of thing. Like when you bend a corner to as a makeshift bookmark. There's not even that is on there anywhere. Which that is the one blemish I would care about too much. I don't know why, but so far so good. And this one was also used very good. So was Home. Home had no imperfections whatsoever. But this is also used very good. I'm gonna check here to see if there's any writing inside the pages, because they have said that's the only thing they say. Like, oh, your copy may have some writing on it, but that's a default setting kind of thing, if you will. But this book, last but kind of least, is The Walking Dead: The Alien by Brian K. Vaughan and artwork done by Marcus Martin. Now, it's not. I only say last but not least, last but not least, only because it's the only Walking Dead book I own, and it's kind of like, it kind of does, if you think about it, kind of sort of breaks my rule about, oh, I won't get this guy's books if he's done this for Spawn. That's my main breaking point. Like, there's a few Spawn issues that, in the Darkness that Ally Cott has done. I don't have those, but I still say I have everything that Ally Cott has done for Image Comics, because I don't include Spawn in that lineup. Same with whoever did, what was his name again? He did The Few, Sean Lewis. He's done a lot for Spawn. I don't include that as part of my lineup for what I have from Sean Lewis. I say, oh, I got everything from Sean Lewis except for Spawn, but I don't include that. It's Walking Dead, you could make the argument I do the same thing. What's the rule for buying Spawn? Well, I don't have Spawn. I don't own Spawn. But the main difference here is that I'm reading Walking Dead, and they have everything Walking Dead besides the Alien. All the spin-offs and the prologue, whatever you call it, spin-offs. There's a lot of spin-offs, and none of them are prequels. Technically, one is. One's like, it takes place in between issues 142 and 147, that kind of thing, closing the gaps. That's Here's Negan. Actually, I think Here's Negan, if anything. It tells his backstory, but if anything, I think it was an epilogue. But those kinds of books. And the only one they didn't have from my library was this. And I did all my tricks too. I did that. I even had to search it by ISBN, and it still did not show up. But that, as they say, is that. There's part 2. Next video will most likely be my complete January 2024 haul. Not 2023. I think the first cut, I accidentally said 2023. But yeah, I did. So, there you go. That's all of them. Oh yeah, We Stand on Guard. Sorry, collects 1 through 6 of We Stand on Guard. I think I'm gonna over everything I'm gonna go over. So now it's gonna do the complete haul for January.